And they departed from the mount of Yahweh 3 days' journey. The ark of the covenant of Yahweh went before them in 3 days' journey to search out a resting place for them. And the cloud of Yahweh was upon them day. And when they went out of the camp, it came to pass, when the ark set forward, that Moses said, Rise up, Yahweh, and let your enemies be scattered, and let them that hate you flee before you. And when it rested, he said, Return, O Yahweh, unto the many thousands of Israel. Numbers chapter 11. And when the people complained, it displeased Yahweh. And Yahweh heard it, and his anger was kindled, and the fire of Yahweh burned among them, and consumed them that were in the uttermost part of the camp. And the people cried unto Moshe. And when Moshe prayed unto Yahweh, the fire was quenched. And he called the name of the place Taberah, because of the fire of Yahweh burnt among them. And the mixed multitude that was among them fell a lasting. And the children of Israel wept again. And he said, Who shall give us flesh to eat? Who remember the fish which you did eat in Egypt? Freely, the cucumber and the melons and the leeks and the onions and the garlic. But now our soul is dried away. There is nothing at all beside this manna before our eyes. And the manna was a coriander seed, and the color therefore the color of the bdellium. And the people went about and gathered it, ground it in the mills, or beat it in a mortar, and baked it in pans, and made cakes of it. And taste of it was the taste of fresh oil. And when the dew fell upon the camp in the night, the manna fell upon it. Then Moshe kindly greatly, Moses also was displeased. And Moses said unto Yahweh, Wherefore hast you afflicted your servant, and wherefore have I not found favor in the sight, that you may lay the burden of all the people upon me? Have I convinced all these people? Have I begotten them, that you should say unto me, Carry them in your bosom, as a nursing father beareth the sucking child, and unto the land which you shall swear unto their fathers? Whence should I have flesh to give unto the people? For they weep unto me, saying, Give us flesh that we may eat. I am not able to bear all these people alone, because it's too heavy for me. And if you deal thus with me, kill me, I pray, out of the hand, if I have found favor in your sight, and let me not see my wretchedness. And Yahweh said unto Moses, Gather unto me 70 men of elders of children of Israel, whom you know to the elders of the people, and office over them, and bring them unto the tabernacle of the congregation, that they may stand there with me. And I will come down and talk with you, and I will take of the spirit which is upon you, and I will put it upon them. And they shall bear the burden of the people with you, that you bear it not yourself alone. And you say unto the people, Sanctify yourself against tomorrow, and you shall eat flesh. For we have wept in the ears of Yahweh, saying, Who shall give us flesh to eat? For it has well with us in Egypt. Therefore Yahweh gives you flesh, and you shall eat. And you shall not eat 1 day, nor 2 days, nor 5 days, neither 10 days, nor 20 days, but even a whole month, until it come out of your noselet, and it be loathsome unto you, because that which you have despised Yahweh, which is among you, and have wept therefore before him, saying, Why came we forth out of Egypt? And Moses said unto the people, among whom I am, are 600,000 footmen. And you said, I will give them flesh, and then that they may eat a whole month. Shall the flocks of the herds be slain, for them to surface them? Or shall all the fish of the sea be gathered together for them to suffer them? And Yahweh said unto Moses, Is Yahweh's hand wax short? You shall see now, therefore, my words shall come to pass unto you or not. And Moses went out and told the people the words of Yahweh, and they gathered the 70 men of the elders of the people, and set them around about the tabernacle. And Yahweh came down in a cloud, and spoke unto him, and took of the spirit that was upon him, and gave it unto the 70 elders. And it came to pass, that when the spirit rested upon them, they prophesied, and did not cease. But there remained 2 of the men in the camp. The name of one was Elidad, and the name of the other was Medad. And the spirit rested upon them. And they were of men that were written, but went not out unto the tabernacle. And they prophesied in the camp. And they ran a young man and told Moshe, and said, Elidad and Medad do prophesy in the camp. And Joshua the son of Nun, the servant of Moshe, one of his young men, answered and said, My surveying Moses forbid them. And Moses said unto him, Envious you for my sake, I hope that he will permit that all Yahweh's people were prophets. and that Yahweh would put his spirit upon them. And Moses got him into the camp, he and the elders of Israel, and they went forth a wind from Yahweh, and brought quails from the sea, and let them fall by the camp. And it was a day's journey on the side, and as it were a day's journey on the other side, round about the camp, as it were 2 cubits high upon the face of the earth. And the people stood up all that day and all that night, and the next day they gathered the quails. He that gathered least gathered 10 homers, and they spread them all abroad for themselves round about the camp. And while the flesh was yet between their teeth, ere it was chewed, the word of Yahweh was kindled against the people, and Yahweh smote the people with a very great plague. And he called the name of the place Kibrohathatava, because they buried the people that lasted. And the people journeyed from Kibrohathatha unto Hazeror, and abode at Hazeroth. Numbers chapter 12. And Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moshe because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married, for he had married an Ethiopian woman. And they said, hath Yahweh indeed spoken unto Moshe? Hath he not spoken also by us? And Yahweh heard it. Now the man Moses was very meek above all men which were upon the face of the earth. And Yahweh spoke suddenly unto Moshe, and unto Aaron, and unto Miriam, come out you three unto the tabernacle of the congregation. And 3 came out. And Yahweh came down in the pillar of the cloud, and stood in the door of the tabernacle, and called Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forth. And he said, hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I Yahweh will make myself known unto him in a vision, and will speak unto him in a dream. My servant Moses is not so, is a faithful in all my house. With him I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches. And the similitudes of Yahweh shall he behold. Therefore, then were not afraid to speak against my servant Moses. And the anger of Yahweh was kindled against them, and he departed. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. And Aaron said unto Moses, alas, my sovereign, I beseech you, lay not the sin upon us, where we have done foolishly, and wherein we have sinned. Let her not be as one as of the dead of the flesh is half consumed, when he come out of his mother's womb. And Moses cried unto Yahweh, saying, heal her now, O El, I beseech you. And Yahweh said unto Moses, if her father had but spit in her face, should she not be ashamed 7 days? Let her be shut off of the camp 7 days, and after that let her be received in again. And Miriam was shut out from the camp 7 days. And the people sojourned not till Miriam was brought in again. And afterwards the people removed from Hazebor, and pitched in the wilderness of Paran.
Numbers chapter number 13. And I spoke to Moshe, saying, send men to spy out the land of Canaan, which I am giving the children of Israel. Send 1 man from each tribe of their father, each every of their leader among them. And by the command of Yahweh, Moshe sent them from the wilderness of Paran, and all of the men who were heads of the children of Israel. And these were their names: from the tribe of Reuben, Shammua son of Zakur; from the tribe of Shimon, Shavat son of Hori; from the tribe of Yehudah, Caleb son of Yefuneh; from the tribe of Issachar, Igal son of Yosef; from the tribe of Ephraim, Hoshea son of Nun; from the tribe of Benjamin, Palti son of Raphu; from the tribe of Zebulon, Gadiel son of Sodi; from the tribe of Yosef, from the tribe of Manasseh, Gadi son of Susi; from the tribe of Dan, Amiel son of Gamali; from the tribe of Asher, Shethur son of Mikael; from the tribe of Naphtali, Nabihu son of Woshi; from the tribe of Gad, Geuel son of Maki. From the those are the names of the men whom Moshe sent to spy of the land of land. And Moshe called Hoshea the son of Nun, Joshua. And Moshe sent them to spy out the land of Canaan, and said to them, go up here into the Negeb, and go up to the mountains, and see what the land is like, and the people who dwells in it, whether strong or weak, whether few or many, and whether the land they dwelt in is good or evil, whether the cities the inhabitants are in the camps are or strongholds, and whether the land is rich or poor, and whether there are forests there or not. And you shall be strong and bring some of the fruits of the land. Now the time was the season of the first fruits of grapes. So they went up and spied out the land from the wilderness of Sin as far as of Rehob and near the entrance of Hamath. And they went up Negeb, the of Anak, and they were there years before sown in Mid, and they one a pole on a pole, also of the pomegranates and of the figs. That place was called the Wadi Eshkol, because of the cluster which the men of Israel cut down from there. And they returned from spying out of the land after 40 days. And they went and came to Moshe and Aaron and all the congregation of the children of Israel in the wilderness of Paran at Kodesh, and they brought back word to them and to all the congregation, and showed them the fruit of the land. And they reported to him and said, we went to the land of where you sent us, and truly it flows with milk and honey, and this is its fruit. But the people who dwelt in the land are strong, and the cities are walled, very great. And we saw the descendants of the Anak there too. The Amalekites dwell in the land of the Negeb, while the Hittites and the Jebusites and the Amorites dwell in the mountains, and the Canaanites dwell by the sea and along the banks of the Yared. And Caleb silenced the people before Moshe and said, let us go up at once and to take possession, for we are certainly able to overcome it. But the man who had gone up with hay are stronger than we. And they gave the children of Israel an evil report of the land which they had spied out, saying, the land through which we have gone as spies in the land, eating up its inhabitants, and all the people whom we saw in it are men of great size. And we saw there the Nephilims, sons of Anak, and then of the Nephilims, and we were like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and so their eyes. Numbers chapter number 14. Then and cried, and the people wept that night. And all the children of Israel grumbled against Moshe and against Aaron, and all the congregation said to them, if only we had died in the land of Mizraim, or if only we had died in the wilderness. And why is Yahweh bringing us to this land to fall by the sword, that our wives and our children should become a prey? Would it be better for us to turn back to Mizraim? And they said to each other, let us appoint a leader, and let us turn back to Mizraim. And Moshe and Aaron fell on their faces before all the assembly and of the congregation of the children of Israel. And Joshua son of Nun and Caleb son of Jephunneh, who were among those who had spied out the land, tore their garments. And they spoke to all the congregation of the children of Israel, to spy out is an exceedingly good land. If Yahweh has delighted in us, then he shall bring us into his land and give it to us as a land which is flowing with milk and honey. Only do not rebel against Yahweh, nor fear the people of the land, for they are our bread. Their defense has turned away from them, and Yahweh is with us. Do not fear them. But all the congregation said to stone them with stones. Then the esteem of Yahweh appeared in the tent of appointment before all the children of Israel. And I said to Moshe, how long shall I be scorned by these people? And how long shall I not be trusted by them with all the signs which I have done in their midst? Let me smite them with their pestilence and disinherit them, and make of you a nation greater and mightier than they. And Moshe said to Yahweh, then the Mitzrites shall hear it, for by your power you brought these people up from their midst. And they shall say to the inhabitants of this land, they have heard that you, Yahweh, are in the midst of these people, and that you, Yahweh, are seen eye to eye, and that your cloud stands above them, and you go before them in a column of cloud by day, and in a column of fire by night. Now if you shall kill these people as one man, then the nations which have heard of your report shall speak, saying, because Yahweh was not able to bring them, these people, to the land which he swore to give them, therefore he killed them in the wilderness. And now I pray, let the power of Yahweh be great, and you have spoken, as you have spoken, saying, Yahweh is patient and of great kindness, forgiving wickedness and transgression, but by no means leaving unpunished, visiting the wickedness of the fathers and of the children to the third and fourth generation. Please forgive the wickedness of these people according to the greatness of your kindness, as you have forgiven these people from Mitzrayim even until now. And I said, I shall forgive according to your word. But truly I live, and all the earth is filled with the esteem of Yahweh. For none of this man who have seen my esteem and the signs which I did in Mitzrayim and in the wilderness, and have tried me now, then 10 times, and have disobeyed my voice, shall see the land of which I swore to their fathers, nor any of those who scorn me see it. But my servant Caleb, because he has a different spirit in him and has followed me completely, I shall bring into the land where he went, and his seed shall inherit it. Since the Amalekites and the Canaanites are dwelling in the valley, turn back tomorrow and depart into the wilderness by the way of the sea of the reeds. And they spoke to Moshe and to Aaron, saying, how long shall this evil congregation have this grumbling against me? I have heard the grumbling which the children of Israel are grumbling against me. Say to them, as I live, declares Yahweh, as you have spoken in my hearing, so I do to you. The carcasses of you who have grumbled against me and are going to fall in this wilderness. All of you who have registered according to your entire number, from 20 years old and above. None of you except Caleb son of Jephunneh and Joshua son of Nun shall enter the land which I saw I would make you dwell in. But your little ones whom you said would become a prey, I shall bring in, and they shall know the land which you have rejected. But as for you, your carcasses are going to fall in the wilderness, and your sons shall be wanderers in the wilderness 40 years, and shall bear your whoring until your carcasses are consumed in the wilderness. According to the numbers of the days in which you spied out the land, 40 days, a day for a year. A day for a year, you are to bear your wickedness for 40 years, and you shall know my breaking off. I am Yahweh, I have spoken, I shall do this. All this evil congregation who are meeting against me in this wilderness, they are consumed, and there they die. And the men whom Moshe sent to spy out the land, who returned and made all the congregation grumble against him by bringing an evil report of the land, even those men who brought the evil report about the land died by the plague before Yahweh. Of those men who went to spy out the land, only Joshua and son of Nun and Caleb son of Jephunneh remained alive. And when Moshe spoke these words to all the children of Israel, the people mourned greatly. And they rose up early in the morning and went up to the top of the mountain, saying, see, we have indeed sinned. but we shall go up to the place which Yahweh has spoken of. But Moshe said, Why do you not and do you now transgress the commands of Yahweh, since it does not prosper? Do not go up, lest you be smitten by your enemies, for Yahweh is not in your midst. Because the Amalekites and the Canaanites are there before you, and you shall fall by their sword, because you shall because you have turned away from Yahweh, and Yahweh is not with you. But they presumed to go up to the mountain top, but neither the ark of the covenant of Yahweh nor Moshe left the camp. So the Amalekites and the Canaanites who dwell in the mountain came down and smote them, and beaten them down even to Homer. Numbers chapter number 15. And I spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, When you have come into the land of your dwellings, I am giving you, and you make an offering by fire to Yahweh, and a burnt offering or a slaughtering to accomplish a vow or a voluntary offering, or in your appointed times to make a sweet fragrance to Yahweh from the herd of the flock, and who brings near his offering to Yahweh shall bring near a grain offering of 1/10 part of the fine flour mixed with 1/4 of hin of oil, 1/4 of hin of wine as a drink offering. You prepare with the burnt offering or the slaughtering for each lamb. Or for a ram you prepare as a grain offering 2/10 parts of a fine flour mixed with 1/3 of hin oil, and as a drink offering you will bring 1/3 of a hin of wine as a sweet fragrance to Yahweh. And when you prepare a young bull as a burnt offering, or as a slaughtering to accomplish a vow, or as a peace offering to Yahweh, then shall be brought with the young bull a grain offering of 3/10 part of the fine flour mixed with half of hin of oil, and bring as the drink offering half of hin of wine as an offering made by fire as a sweet fragrance to Yahweh. This is what is done for each young bull, for each ram, and for each lamb or young goat, according to the number that you prepare. So you do for each one according to their number. Let all who are native do so with them, in bringing near an offering made by fire, sweet fragrance to Yahweh. And when a stranger sojourn with you, or whoever is among you throughout your generation, and who would make an offering made by fire, so a sweet fragrance to Yahweh, as you do, so he does. One law is for you, of the assembly, and for the strangers who sojourns with you, a law forever throughout your generations. As you are, so is the stranger before you. One Torah and one right ruling is for you, and for the stranger who sojourns with you. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, When you come into the land to which I bring you, then it shall be, when you eat of the bread of the land, that you present a contribution to Yahweh. Present a cake of the first of your dough as a contribution of the threshing floor. You present it. Of the first of your dough you are to give to Yahweh a contribution throughout your generation. And when you sin by mistake, and do not do all these commands which Yahweh has spoken to you, to Moshe, and that Yahweh has commanded you by the hand of Moshe, from the day Yahweh gave command and onward throughout your generation, then it shall be, if it is done by mistake, without the knowledge of the congregation, that all the congregation shall prepare one young bull as a burnt offering, as a sweet fragrance to Yahweh, with its grain offering and its drink offering, according to the right ruling, one male goat as a sin offering. Then the Kohen shall make atonement for all the congregation of the children of Israel, and it shall be forgiven them, for it was by mistake. And they shall bring their offering, an offering made by fire to Yahweh, and their sins offering before Yahweh for their sake. And it shall be forgiven all the congregation of the children of Israel, and the strangers who sojourns in their midst, because all the people did it by mistake. And if a being seen by mistake, then he shall bring a female goat, a year old, as a sin offering, and the Kohen shall make atonement for the being who strayed by mistake when he sins by mistake before Yahweh, to make atonement for him, and it shall be forgiven him. For him who make a mistake, there is one Torah, for both for him and who is native among the children of Israel, and for the stranger who sojourns in their midst. But the being who act defiantly, whether he is native or a stranger, he reviles Yahweh. And that being shall be cut off from among these people, because he has despised the word of Yahweh and has broken his command. That being shall certainly be cut off. His wickedness is upon him. And while the children of Israel were in the wilderness, they found a man gathering stick on the Sabbath day. And those who found him gathering sticks brought him to Moshe and to Aaron and to all the congregation, and they put him in under the guard, because it had not been declared what should be done to him. And Yahweh said to Moshe, the man shall certainly be put to death, all the congregation stoning him with stones outside the camp. And all the congregation brought him outside the camp and stoned him with stones, as Yahweh commanded Moshe, and he died. And I spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to the children of Israel, and you shall say to them, to make a tzitzit on the four corner of their garment throughout their generation, and to put a blue cord in the tzitzit of the corners, and it shall be to you a tzitzit, and you shall see it, and shall remember all the commands of Yahweh, and shall do them, and not search after your own heart and your own eyes, after which you were whoring, so that you remember and shall do all my commands, and be Kodesh unto your Elohim. I am Yahweh your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mizraim, to be your Elohim. I am Yahweh your Elohim.
Numbers chapter number 16, verse number 1. And Korah, son of Itzal, son of Kehaz, son of Levi, took both Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, and on the son of Perez, the sons of Reuben, and they rose up before Moshe with some of the children of Israel, 250 leaders of the congregation, called ones of the meeting men of name. And they assembled against Moshe and against Aaron, and said to them, enough of you, for all the congregation is Kodesh, all of them, and Yahweh is in their midst. Why then do you lift up yourselves above the assembly of Yahweh? And when Moshe heard he fell on his face, and spoke to Korah and to his company, saying, tomorrow morning Yahweh shall make known who is his and who is Kodesh, and come near to him, and let him bring near to him the one whom he chooses. Do this, take fire holders, Korah, and all your company, and put fire in them, and put incense in them before Yahweh tomorrow. And it shall be that the one whom Yahweh chooses is the Kadosh one. Enough of you, sons of Levi. And Moshe said to Korah, hear now, you sons of Levi, it is written to you that the Elohim of Israel has separated you from the congregation of Israel, to bring you near to himself, to perform the service of Mishkan of Yahweh, and to stand before the congregation and to serve them. And that he has brought you near to himself, and all your brothers, the sons of Levi, with you, yet you seek the Kehunah as well. Therefore, you and all your company, 50 fire holders, and you and Aaron, each one with his fire holder. So each one took his fire holder and put fire in it, and laid incense on it, and stood at the door of the tent of appointment with Moshe and Aaron. And Korah assembled all the congregation against them at the door of the tent of appointment. Then the esteem of Yahweh appeared to all the congregation. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe and to Aaron, saying, separate yourself from the midst of this congregation, and let me consume them in a moment. But they fell on their faces and said, O Elohim of the spirits of all flesh, when one man sins, you are wroth with all the congregation. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to the congregation, say, move away from around the tents of Korah and Dathan and Abiram. So Moshe rose up and went to Dathan and Abiram, and the elders of Israel and followed him. And he spoke to the congregation, say, please turn away from the tents of these wicked men. Do not touch whatever belongs to them, lest you be consumed in all their sins. Then they moved away from all around the tents of Korah, Dathan and Abiram, and Dathan and Abiram came out and stood at the door of their tents with their wives and with their sons and their little ones. And Moshe said, by this you know that Yahweh has sent me to do all these works, not because of my own heart. If these die, as all men do, or if they are visited as all men are visited, then Yahweh has not sent me. But if Yahweh creates what is unheard of, and the earth opens its mouth and swallows them up with all that belongs to them, and they go down alive into a grave, then you shall know that these men have scorned Yahweh. And it came to be, as he ended speaking all these words, that the ground under them split apart, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up with their households, and all their men with Korah, with all their goods, so that all those who with them went down alive into the grave, and the earth closed over them, and they perished from the midst of the assembly. And all the Israelites who were around about with them fled at their cry, for they said, lest the earth swallows up. And a fire came out from Yahweh and consumed the 250 men who were offering incense. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, say to Eleazar, son of Aaron the Kohen, and to pick up the fire holders out of the blaze, for they are kadosh, and scatter the fire some distance away. The fire holders of them men who sinned against their own lives, let them be made into beaten plates as a covering for the altar, because they brought them before Yahweh. Therefore they are kadosh, and let them become a sign to the children of Israel. And Eleazar the Kohen took the bronze, the fire holders, which are those who were burned up and brought up, and they were beaten out as a covering on the altar, a remembrance to the children of Israel, that no stranger who is not of the seed of Aaron should come near to offer incense before Yahweh, and not be like Korah and his company, as Yahweh has said to him through Moshe. But all the congregation of the children of Israel grumbled against Moshe and against Aaron on the next day, saying, you have killed the people of Yahweh. And it came to be, when the congregation assembled against Moshe and against Aaron, that they turned toward the tent of appointment, and see, the crowd covered it, and the esteem of Yahweh appeared. And Moshe and Aaron came before the tent of the meeting of appointment, and Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, arise from in the midst of the congregation, let me consume them in a moment. And they fell on their faces. So Moshe said to Aaron, take the fire holder and put the fire in it from the altar, and lay incense on it, and go hurry to the congregation and make atonement for them, for the wrath has gone out from Yahweh, the parade has begun. And Aaron took it as Moshe commanded, and ran into the midst of the assembly, and saw that the plague had begun among the people. And he laid on the incense and made the atonement for the people, and stood between the dead and the living, and the plague was stopped. And those who died in the plague were 14,700, beside those who died on account of Korah. Then Aaron returned to Moshe at the door of the tent of appointment, for the plague has stopped. Bemidbar chapter 17 verse number 1. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to the children of Israel, and take from them a rod from each father's house, all their readers according to their father's houses, 12 rods. Write each one's name on his rod, and write Aaron's name on the rod of Levi, for there is one rod for the head of each father's house. You shall then place them in the tent of appointment before the witness, where I meet with you. And it shall be that the Lord of the man whom I choose buds, and I shall rid myself of the grumblings of the children of Israel, which they grumble against you. And Moshe spoke to the children of Israel, and all their readers gave him a rod each for each reader according to their father's houses, 12 rods, and the rod of Aaron was among their rods. So Moshe placed the rods before Yahweh in the tent of the witnesses. And it came to be on the next day that Moshe went into the tent of witness and saw that the rod of Aaron of the house of Levi had budded and brought forth buds and blossomed and bore ripe almonds. And Moshe brought out all the rods from before Yahweh to all the children of Israel, and they looked at, and each man took his rod. And Yahweh said to Moshe, bring Aaron's rod back before Yahweh, before the witness, to be kept as a sign against the rebels, and so that you put an end to their grumblings against me, lest they die. And Moshe did as Yahweh commanded him, so he did. And the children of Israel spoke to Moshe, saying, see, we shall die, we shall perish, we shall all perish. Anyone who comes near the Mishkan of Yahweh dies. Shall we be consumed to die? Bamidbar, chapter number 18, verse number 1. And Yahweh said to Aaron, you and your sons and your father's house, and with you, you are to bear the wickedness against the Mikdash. And you and your sons with you are to bear the wickedness against your Kehuna. But bring with you your brothers of the tribe of Levi too, the tribe of your father, to join you and serve you, while you and your sons are with you before the tent of the witness. And they shall guard your charge and the duty of all the tent, but they do not come near the furnaces of the Kodesh priest and the altar, lest they die, both they and you. And they shall be joined with you and guard the duty of the tent of appointment for all the service of the tent, but the stranger does not come near you. And you shall guard the duty of the Kodesh priest and the duty of the altar, so that there be no more wrath on the children of Israel. And see, I myself have taken your brothers the Levites from the midst of the children of Israel, a gift to you given by Yahweh, and to do the service of the tent of appointment. But you and your sons with you are to guard the Kehuna for all the matters at the altar and behind the veil, and you shall serve. I have given you the Kehuna as a gift for service, but the stranger who comes near it is to put to death. And Yahweh spoke to Aaron, and see, I myself have also given you the charge of my contribution. All the Kodesh gifts of the children of Israel, I have given them to you for the anointing, and to your sons as a law forever. This is yours of the most Kodesh gifts from the fire, and all their offerings, and all their grain offerings, and all their sin offerings, and all their guilt offerings, which they render to me, are most Kodesh for you and your sons. Eat in the most Kodesh place. Every male eats it, and it is Kodesh to you. This is also yours, the contribution of their gift, with all the wave offering of the children of Israel. I have given them to you and to your sons and to your daughters with you as a law forever. With everyone who is clean in your houses, he eats it. All the best of the oil, and all the best of the new wine and the grain, their first fruits, which they give to Yahweh, I have given them to you. The first fruits of all that is in their land, which they bring to Yahweh, are yours. Everyone who is clean in your houses eats it, and all that is dedicated to Israel is yours. Everyone opening a womb of all flesh which they bring to Yahweh, whether man or beast, is yours. But the firstborn of man you shall certainly ransom, and the firstborn of the unclean beast you ransom, and ransom the ransomed ones, when one a month old, according to your valuation, 5 shekels of silver according to the shekel of the Kodesh priest, which is 20 gerahs. But the firstborn of a cow, of the firstborn of a sheep, or the firstborn of a goat you do not ransom. They are kadosh. Sprinkle their blood on the altar, and burn their fats as an offering made by fire, for a sweet fragrance to Yahweh. All their flesh is yours, as the wave beast, as the wave breast, and as the right thigh is yours. All the contribution of the Kodesh gifts which the children of Israel present to Yahweh, I have given to you and your sons and daughters with you as law forever. It is a covenant of salt forever before Yahweh, with you and your seed with you. And Yahweh said to Aaron, you are not to have an inheritance in the midst. I am your portion, and your inheritance among the children of Israel. And see, I have given the children of Levi all the tithes in Israel as an inheritance in return for the service which they are serving, the service of the tent of appointment. And let the children of Israel no more come near to the tent of appointment, lest they bear sin and die. Because the Levites shall do the service of the tent of appointment, so they themselves bear their wickedness arose forever throughout your generation, that among the children of Israel they are to have no inheritance, but the tithes of the children of Israel which they present as a contribution to Yahweh, I have given to the Levites as an inheritance. That is why I have said to them, among the children of Israel they have no inheritance. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to the Levites and say to them, when you take from the children of Israel the tithes which I have given to you from them as your inheritance, then you shall present a contribution of it to Yahweh, a tenth of the tithe. And your contribution shall be reckoned to you as a grain from the threshing floor, and as a filling flour with winepress. Thus you also present a contribution to Yahweh from all your tithes which you receive from the children of Israel, and you shall give from it the contribution to Yahweh to Aaron the Kohen. From all your gifts you present every contribution due to Yahweh from all the best of them, the kadosh part of them, and you shall say to them, when you have presented the best of it, then the rest shall be reckoned to the Levites as yield of the threshing floor, and as the yield of the winepress, and you shall eat it in any place, and you and your household, for it is your reward for your service in the tent of appointment. And bear no sin because of it when you have presented the best of it, and do not profane the Kodesh gifts of the children of Israel, lest you die.
The book of Numbers, chapter 19. And Yahweh spoke unto Moshe and unto Aaron, saying, this is the ordinance of the law which Yahweh hath commanded, saying, speak to the children of Israel, that they bring thee a red heifer without spot, wherein there is no blemish, and upon which never came yoke. And you shall give her unto Eleazar the priest, that he may bring her forth without a camp, and one shall slay her before his face. And Eleazar the priest shall take of the blood with his finger, and sprinkle her blood directly to the tabernacle of the congregation 7 times. And one shall burn the heifer in the sight, her skin, and her flesh, and her blood with the dung shall he burn. And the priest shall take cedar wood and hyssop and scarlet, and cast it in the midst of the burning of the heifer. Then the priest shall wash his clothes, and he shall bathe his flesh into the water, and afterward he shall come into the camp of the priest, shall be unclean until the even. And he that burned her shall wash her clothes in water, and bathe his flesh in water, and shall be unclean until the even. And a man that is clean shall gather up the ashes of the heifer, and lay them up without the camp in a clean place, and it shall be kept for the congregation of the children of Israel for a water of separation. It's a purification of our sin. And he that gather the ashes of the heifer shall wash his clothes, and be unclean until the even. And it shall be unto the children of Israel, and unto the stranger that sojourneth among them, for a statute forever. He that touches the dead body of any man shall be unclean 7 days. He shall purify himself with it on the 3rd day. And on the 7th day he shall be clean. And if he purify not himself the 3rd time, then the 7th day he shall not be clean. Whosoever touches the dead body of any man that is dead, and he purifieth not himself, defiles the tabernacle of Yahweh. And that the soul shall be cut off from Israel, because the water of separation was not sprinkled upon him. He shall be unclean, his uncleanness is yet upon him. This is the law which a man dieth in a tent, and all that come into the tent, and all that is in the tent shall be unclean 7 days. And every open vessel which have no covering bond upon it, it is unclean. And whoever touches one that is slain with a sword in the open field, or a dead body, or a bone of a man, a grave, shall be unclean 7 days.